Setonix brachyurus is an Australian macropod species, commonly referred to as the short-tailed scrub wallaby or quokka. Although the species is not closely related to rodents, Dutch explorers first described the animals as cat-sized rats. Given their charming smiles and friendly temperament, there is no question why the quokka is distinguished as the happiest animal in the world. The species belongs to the class Mammalia. While most mammals share a variety of traits, the one defining feature unique to all members of the clade is a jaw articulation between the dentary and squamosal bones. Quokkas are also members of infraclass Monotremes, comprising marsupial mammals, and the family Macropodidae, which includes kangaroos, wallabies, and other related species. Brachyurus is the only species of genus Setonix.
The quokka is the smallest species of wallaby with a body length between 40 to 54 centimeters and a mass of 2 to 4 kilograms. They possess small heads, rounded ears, and a black nose. Quokkas are covered by short, coarse fur except for on the nose and tail. The animal's fur is mostly brown with lightened underparts. Well-developed hind limbs enable quokkas to move quickly via bipedal hops and to climb small trees. Although quokkas have shorter legs and tails than related species, this allows them to move faster through high grass and dense vegetation.
There is not a lot known about the fossil record of the quokkas, but what we do know is that they originated in southwestern Australia. Despite being able to find a handful of populations on the mainland, most populations have been restricted to Rottnest and Bald Islands since the Pleistocene era. Around 6,000 to 8,000 years ago, quokka populations on Rottnest Island became cut off from the mainland, and around 10,000 years ago, quokka populations on Bald Island became cut off from the mainland. Scientists have concluded that this was due to the rise in sea levels.
Quokkas have teeth adapted to their herbivorous browser lifestyle. The species has diprotodont dentition, meaning their pair of lower incisors are large and projected forward, which creates a gap between the incisors and cheek teeth. They have sharp premolars and flat molars used to tear and shear plant material. Additionally, quokkas require enhanced nutrient and mineral uptake from their food via regurgitation of cud for further mechanical digestion and foregut fermentation, where dense bacteria and protozoan populations in the digestive tract aid in plant decomposition. This adaptation allows quokka populations to colonize nutritionally unfavorable environments and withstand the dry season when there is a shortage of nutritionally rich plant material. In certain locations with particularly harsh seasonal conditions, quokkas can go long periods of time without food or water by relying on the fat stored in their tails. Female quokkas possess a well-developed pouch that opens anteriorly for protection and nourishment of their offspring. Milk delivered to young is high in protein and changes in composition throughout the lactation period. There is evidence of sexual dimorphism between male and female quokkas, in which males develop larger features and body size than females. The evolutionary adaptation might be indicative of their social hierarchy. While quokkas exhibit a lower metabolic rate than similarly sized eutherian mammals, they compensate with a comparatively larger heart and lung capacity. A quokka's main physiological strategies for thermoregulation are shivering, panting, sweating, and using saliva to induce evaporative cooling. They also use behavioral means of regulating body temperature, such as finding shade or seeking shelter. One interesting attribute that is selective to Setonix brachyurus among their wallaby relatives is their color vision.
Quokkas reach reproductive maturity at around 9 to 13 months of age. Breeding begins at around 18 months old and the mating season ranges from January to March. Quokkas may mate twice in a year, with the first zygote developing immediately, while the second zygote is stored in what is called embryonic diapause. The purpose of the second embryo is speculated to be used if the first zygote shouldn't survive to independence or used later in the next breeding season. After a gestation period of roughly 27 days, quokkas are born and then have a pouch development phase of about 170 days. Once the joey leaves the pouch, the female's estrous cycle will resume as normal. Quokkas tend to form groups of around 10 to 20 individuals, but in general are considered a solitary species. Quokka's behavior on their own makes them hard to distinguish between males and females. However, when interacting with one another, it becomes clear that there is a male-dominated hierarchy found within their social and mating systems. Male Quokka dominance is determined by the amount of wins they have in social interactions, which may or may not include fighting. The more dominant a male, the more likely they are to get the female mate of his choice. However, female mate choice is still displayed in Quokkas, and males may still get turned away by females. Males may have up to 5 female partners at a time, usually lasting more than one breeding season.
Quokkas are most active at night, only leaving their homes within the grasses of swamps and scrublands to browse on a variety of food items such as shrubs, trees, forbs, sedges, grasses, and succulents. Their methods of eating are by either plucking small leaves and flowers with their hands or directly cropping plants using their enlarged incisors. If you'd like to visit these marsupials, your best chance to find one would be on Rottnest Island, located about 19 miles off the coast of Perth, Australia. And to a lesser, more dispersed degree, you can also find them within the Jarrah Forest, located along the southwesternmost regions of Australia.
The conservation of quokkas is very important to the Western Australian Department of Environment and Conservation. According to the Environment Protection and Biodiversity Conservation Act of 1999, quokkas are listed as vulnerable. This is caused by a decline in geographic range, a decline in the number of populations, and an increase in predation. Although red foxes are the main cause of predation, the feral pig also has an indirect effect on quokka populations. Feral pigs cause habitat destruction, which ultimately results in easier access for predators. Despite the importance of predation, climate change also has a very important impact on populations. From 1960 to 1990, rainfall in southwestern Australia decreased by 20%, which shrank geographic ranges and forced quokka populations to migrate to areas with lots of rainfall, which there weren't that many at that time. The 3 main goals of their plan is to maintain their threat level of vulnerable, maintain the same number of populations, and identify new population threats and develop new strategies to manage those threats. If all 3 goals are reached by 2023, then the recovery plan will be deemed a success.